built and Recreation Commission meeting for Wednesday, May 10th, beginning at 5:30. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Can we have roll call, please?
Bob Zurich, Bob Kleppel. Here. Kevin Creedy, Tessie Steffens,
Here.
Sparky Snyder, Jeannie Miller Wood. Here. Dave Waymeyer, Betty Warner, Gavin Woolley. Here. Al Bear. Here. And Jeff Packey.
Can we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You've all had a chance to read the minutes from April 12th. I would like to have an approval of the minutes, please.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, we have a motion by Gavin, a second by Jeannie. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Any opposed? The Parks and Recreations Director report.
Okay. First, I'd like to thank Dan Cassette. He had been on the park board for 11 years. I think he had a discussion with the mayor and said that he thought his run was over. And so we have an open position. The mayor's trying to fill that position. But I would like to thank Dan. I mean, I've been here for almost 4.5 years. And so he obviously has been here the whole time that I've been here and has been very helpful on keeping us on track in the parks and in the fairgrounds and all his electrical knowledge. And I know he helped us out with a little special electrical project down at Waterworks building a couple years ago. And I do appreciate all the expertise and advice he's given, at least me and my staff, over the 4.5 years I've been here. I don't know if anyone has anything else to add or anything like that.
I just think he'll be missed, and I think the board all appreciates all that Danny has done for us and been on this board for the last 11 years.
I echo. We do.
And Sparky sent me an email the other day saying he wouldn't be able to make the meeting, but he said he's going to miss Dan's sense of humor.
I don't know if I'll miss that.
That's the number one. That's the number one thing we're going to miss.
Yes. Next, caboose update. It's finished. Logos are painted. It's painted. We got to touch up the landscaping and add the little fence back underneath it, which should be happening soon. And then we have some minor other improvements to make throughout the year, hopefully maybe before American in Bloom gets here, with moving the sign closer to the caboose and painting it so it's a little more noticeable, and possibly even putting some light, a little light on the sign too down there. So, but the area looks nice. River dock, boat dock, I should say. After we got the dock out and when we were getting ready to reinstall it, we were looking at the walking ramp that goes down, that would go down to it. And at the with the river being so low now, the end of it was exposed. Well, the end of it was like rotted off, basically. The concrete was not there, and then the iron was all disintegrated also. And then after looking at it a little closer, then we found out that there's actually a cavity under about the half of the length of the walkway coming down the embankment, where I guess the river, when it floods, was getting under there and washing out all the gravel and soil underneath of it. And so that's what they're doing this week. They formed it up. We added another, I think it's 20 feet a section of concrete. So essentially the boat dock will be, when the river's low like this, instead of being dry docked like it has been, it will be out in the river more with this extended walkway down there. And then tomorrow we're bringing in the flowable fill concrete to fill in the void under the concrete. And then probably Monday, we have the boat dock back. It's sitting on a trailer. We were waiting on a trailer for a while that was large enough to haul it that we're borrowing. And it's sitting at the shop waiting for these concrete repairs. And then hopefully Monday, if weather cooperates, we'll be getting that back in. So Staffing updates, just want to give you a quick update where we are with staffing, as far as part-time staffing for the summer. Pool has hired about 12, that's admission and concession stand people. Camp has about 8 camp counselors. Park maintenance has 0 part-time staff or seasonal staff this summer. And the department will have 1 intern starting on May 22nd. So maybe we'll find someone for park maintenance in the next couple weeks as we get closer to school. I don't know. We'll see. Skate park siding's off it. I reached out to the contractor. That's looking like, last week he was telling me about 3 weeks, so that put us about the last week in May that they would start. Hopefully that's still the case. That'll be good to get that going. Update on the football shed, it's still there. Lots of emails going back and forth. They had a person that was going to take it, and he said even started to disassemble it, which I did notice the backside of the shed, all the siding is gone off of it, which I thought was strange. But he said now that guy won't return their phone calls. They've been calling him like every day, and now he won't return his calls. So they still have internally, Mike Newbanks, want to remove it themselves. So basically, I'm just telling you guys, it's still in the process. I'm at least actively working with them now. And so I think they will get it done. Just not as quick as I'd like, but I think it is coming, so, which will be good. Wanted to give you an update on park or memorial benches sold. We have 5 that have been paid for, and 4 people say yes, but haven't, say that they want one but haven't paid yet. So that's ongoing. And then in a little bit, you'll hear, you have some paperwork in front of you about the memorial trees, and where we are with the committee on that. And then Darren Lamb wanted me to remind you, which I'm glad he popped in and reminded me to remind you, that the Missouri Conservation Commission is meeting here in this room on Friday, May, I think it's 19th, at 8:30 in the morning, and it's a public meeting. So if you'd like to come and listen to, I've never been. I'm planning on, there's a little dinner thing the night before. I'm planning on attending that, and then probably being at this meeting. I don't know how long the meeting is. It just says that it starts at 8. From what I received is it starts at 8:30 in the morning, but there's no end date, or end time, I should say. And so I don't know what all they'll be discussing, but I've been instructed to come and prepare my wish list for Thursday night's dinner. So,
Wine them and dine them and then present the
Yeah.
list.
and that's all I have in the director's report.
Could I ask you a question about,
Yes.
Where are we on the soccer storage building?
I got an email from him this week. They're working on it. They did topo and things like that. He did tell me, and I'm not exactly sure why, I'm kind of letting them get their stuff together, that it would have to be reorientated. The, I guess, entrance or front of it would be and I'm not sure why, but reoriented to basically face west. So instead of facing soccer field 1, it would face soccer field 3, which may be better. I mean, I don't know why, but I didn't ask yet. But I instructed, he reached out to me, and I thought maybe he was reaching out because he was wanted to come to this meeting. But I think he was just reaching out to let me know that they're still working on it. But I had contacted engineering the week before, I guess it was, and they said they hadn't heard from him. So we played phone tag for a little bit, and then I wound up sending an email. In the email I said, per park board's advice, you need to be working with engineering on this. And so he said he was going to. So
Thank you.
that's where we're at.
Any other questions? Okay, communications from the audience. Do we have any in the audience that would like to come forward and? No? So you're just here to listen? Good, okay. Old business.
Old business, so the ribbon cutting, I know some of you were able to make it. It was very nice. It was a little drizzly. Nice event. The mayor went down the new slide. We had some giveaways. Looks like everyone had fun. That fence down there is only temporary, just, it's really just well, we were hoping, it really hasn't rained since the time that we opened it, and today, I mean, we got a little bit yesterday, I guess, but not much.
Maybe.
At that time, when we had the ribbon cutting, we didn't have the irrigation on yet, and we were relying on Mother Nature. Well, that hasn't worked out very well for us. Normally this time of year, it would be muddy down there, but that fence is only just to prevent people from really running and walking through the mud. It's gonna come down here soon. Irrigation is on down there now, so I don't know how soon we'll get grass growing. I noticed some of our straw is kind of blown away in the windstorms that we've been having, but, overall, nice event. It was nice that it was in conjunction with Sunset, so.
Well, like we were saying earlier, it's been used.
Yeah, I see people down there all the time.
Okay, new business.
Okay, first thing, All Abilities Playground sign draft. And so in your packet, I believe that was in your packet, right? Is a draft of the sign that basically Jeff kind of spouted off that night at the meeting here, or I guess our last park board meeting, which says, "Welcome to the All Abilities Playground. Please be mindful this park is intended for children of all abilities and ages. During play, be especially mindful of young children and those with special needs. Please be attentive to those around you to make sure the park,
No, sure.
Just take sure out.
is a great experience for all." Thank you. And then it would have the J.C.'s logo, which I need to figure out how I acquire that. Google. Okay, and then our park logo under that. There were some emails flying around, I think, with park board on it. Would you guys recommend this sign, or
I think it's very appropriate.
verbiage okay?
How about you?
Yeah.
I approve the sign, and like I said, the JC's, so.
Go ahead. I was gonna show you or give you a copy of it. I think it's in here.
So, like I said, we approve of the sign. I think it's great, and like I said, the JC's will pay for it, because we want our logo to be on there, so.
Yeah.
Just getting it put on there, do you have any, ways of wanting to put on there, like on a wooden stake, or just put it against the fencing, or?
I looked, we probably get two signs, one for like the few parking spots there by the bathroom and that gate, that area there, and then one for the, I guess, upper parking lot or the big parking lot.
As the low entrance as you walk in?
Yeah, the little one by the bathroom there, and then the big parking lot up top there, the gate up there. Probably, I'm guessing, unless staff has a better idea, probably mounting it on the fence near the gate there when you walk in, both spots there.
So, okay, so, if I, like I said, I talked about it last meeting, it's not like an enforcement, it's just kind of like a recommendation, kind of just, keep you courteous of it, just, the All Abilities Park's meant for, children with, certain disabilities, The pool, the library has allocated times for seniors and tots, and there's no difference between that and the park, because the taxpayers pay for all of it. We pay to maintain the park, so why not just allow us to have that time frame? Allow us to, pass the word on and let people know about the park, That's all I'm really asking, Since the last meeting, I've had many phone calls and messages asking me, like, thank you for what you're doing, we've been trying to do this for many years, trying to get, the attention to, have this, opportunity for, certain children to use this park, and it's just surprising that it took me to do this. But I'm happy to do it. I'm happy to make a difference for this town, and to hope to continue to keep doing this for everybody. So,
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you for your participation.
thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Wayne,
Yes.
I think everything's great with them signs and everything, but if there's any other way we can make the public more aware, and I don't know how, if by putting in the paper or something.
I was in the paper last meeting after the meeting.
Oh, yeah, there was a,
Yeah, I read that article, but I mean, if we can maybe do that more than once, every month or something, maybe throughout the summer, to just put a little article in there so people don't forget about it, and just keep them aware of the things that's going on now.
Yeah, I'll send Ethan, who's usually here, I'll send him a note about it.
So that's one way, and social media is the best way to get it around. I know a lot of people use it these days, and a lot of the word gets spread around that way.
Yeah, we can post it on social media too.
Okay, we don't need to approve, I mean, the sign's been approved. It's good to go.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay, perfect. That's perfect. So then, new skate, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. New skateboard park features?
yes, so, this is kind of the final phase, of the skate park. And I just wanted to show you, so this was a rendering in 2012 when the skate park was built. And I don't think my pointer is working. Let's see if it is or not. Oh, it might be. Oh yeah, it is working. Okay, so this is basically what we got. This big rectangle here is, for the most part, what we have now, and that's what in 2012 was purchased. These items out here on the outside, which I think there's like 7 of them here, they were not purchased. I guess they were cut. You guys, some of you may know more than I. During that project, there was some money that was cut, and those, I guess, were cut out of the project because they're not there. So, and then this next picture, or this next design will kind of show you even maybe a little clearer. You can kind of see, ooh boy, where those features are on the outside there that they didn't appear. There's, one there and all the way around there. And so what I have then now from the company, same company that built the skate park, I contacted them about features, and we'll go through these here. Uh-oh. Oh, Lord. Why is it doing this? Okay, hopefully. Anyway, so you can see on the outside here, we got, my pointer will work now again. Yeah. These features here, and we'll go through a couple slides and I'll show you a closer up of them. All the outside, so there's 7 features that we're proposing. Let's see here. Oops. So there's 3, if you look here closely, there's 3 in this picture here. And there's a couple more slides. So you got that orange looking one, and then to the left of that, it's kind of not very noticeable. I guess that's the shadow of the fence in their rendering here. There's one there, and then this one at the end of the page there. And then you have this yellow one, and then there's one in the background, a small one in the background there, behind it in the upper right-hand corner. And then I've got another, should be another slide, I believe. I don't know why it's doing that. With 2 more features there. And so I have been over to the skate park a couple different times during this project, and I asked different people of various ages what they would like to see in the project. And I asked a dad with his younger son, who was probably 13-ish. I asked a couple teenagers that were probably 19-ish. And then some guys that were about 20-ish. And they all said that there's not really anything, or the younger kids can use what's in pink now, but if there's older kids there, you know, they have to stay out of the way of the older kids that are going much faster and who are a lot bigger than them. Whereas if there's stuff on the outside here for the younger kids to do, they're kind of more out of the way, and these features here are more for that skill level too. The older kids, they could use them, but they're more apt to be on the ramps on the, in the actual skate park, the actual concrete ramps here. And so, I don't know what you guys think of that. It went within budget. So all 7 features, you know, none of these things are cheap these days. The price I received was $20,993
For everything is 20?
for everything, for all 7 features. And
Seen that.
we, let's see, trying to think what else there was. Oh, and so I have, after the siding, I had about $22,000 left in the account, so we're at about 21,000 here. And so I was sent this, I think, last week or whatever. I told them I wanted to run it by park board, see what your guys' thoughts are. I met with them, we met on phone and talked over email a couple different times, and I told them what the feedback I was getting from the kids, the teenagers at the actual skate park. And so this is what they came up with, and it just happens to be kind of all the features that were cut out of the project back in 2012.
Is your 21, give or take, figure purchase price, or is that installed price? We do, or is it in-house installation?
I think I need to find that out. They said they could do it. They didn't give me a price. But we could install it too. I haven't made it that far. I just figured I'd bring it, because I didn't want to get too far involved. I mean, regardless, I probably need that information, but if you guys didn't like this plan, then I was gonna have to go back to them anyways and say, all right, send me something else.
Well, I think, you know, my opinion is if, you know, differentiates between age groups, I think we ought to make it, you know, attractive to older and younger kids as well. So I think we ought to go with it.
I like it. The skateboard park is used all the time, and it is used by a lot of ages, which is just really remarkable in some ways. But they will work it out, as they always do. I think it's great that we have some younger devices for the younger kids. I just don't always want the older kids to be pushing the younger kids to the side, so they, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they will work it out. They're, you know what I mean? And we don't want them skateboarding all around town, and most of them are not. And so if we can provide some skills for various ages out there, I'm for it.
Yeah, the people I talked to are very appreciative to have it. I know Union's looking into one, and now I think even St. Clair's looking into
Yep.
one, but they don't have any, I don't think either, I could be wrong, but I don't think either place really has the funding yet for it.
They asked 30 years ago for a skateboard park here in Washington. That's how long it's taken for this to even, so if we can make it even a little bit better, like all our other playgrounds that we do and things like that nature, and we've got the funding to do it, I think we should do it.
I always notice at this park too, it seems like all the different ages are very respectful of one another.
Yeah,
Like, they take their turns and they.
I've
it
seen the
never
big
seems to
kids
be a-
help the little kids.
Yeah, it's never seemed to be a big issue of whose turn or who has this area or whatever.
Yeah.
I like that, but giving that for the younger kids.
I've been over there a lot lately with this project, and I have to say, I'm surprised at the number of adults that skate. And like, I was leaving one day and I heard this guy, and he had a company truck, tell this other guy that he was there with skating. He's like, all right, my lunch break's over, I gotta go back to work. And so he just fucking left.
Yeah, no, that it's used, I go by it all the time. It's used all the time. It really is looking nice, and I do think we should finish it out. And so if we can afford to do it, I would definitely say let's do it.
We'd have to
Yeah.
go down there and try it out to let you know how it is.
Yeah, go ahead, yeah.
I'll have that ambulance on scene.
Yeah,
know my youngest
yeah,
son
I'll
would-
get that helicopter called right for you.
How many hips you got that are still there?
Yeah, and I guess the only thing would be installation, and if you know, if it's,
If we have to do, I don't think it's a bit, because it's all just bolting it to the concrete.
it is bolting it into the concrete, right?
Yeah, it's, I mean, we bolt all kinds of things to the concrete these days.
They're
Okay.
a good
We even
facet.
bolted the picnic tables to the concrete at the pavilion because
Yeah, that'd be good.
they were stacking them up and all kinds of stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't really see kids skateboarding around town at all.
Not like what you
Oh,
do.
yeah.
You don't.
There was some signs down at the Main and Elm parking lot that we just removed last year that said no there was two of them, one on each side of the entrance that said no skateboarding. And you
They-
don't see
yeah.
anyone down there anymore.
They used to skateboard all over, and we needed, they came, I'm not kidding, they came in the early 90s when I was on the council and wanted a skateboard park, and it's taken, you know, and so if we can make this better for them, and that certain skills that they want to do and have fun with, I say we should do it.
So does this finish the project out then?
Yeah, this would be
Yep.
the last piece. This is the part wasn't sure when we started the project if we'd have enough money for it. And I didn't expect to have this much either. I thought I'd be lucky if I had 5,000. But we really, the concrete bid and everything, and the fence bid came in really, really good. The siding bid came in a little bit higher than I thought, but in the end, this was a good amount of money to get these features in.
I think we should do it.
It'll work.
Yep.
Yeah.
You need action out of us
Yeah,
for
do we
that,
need to
or?
vote
Yeah, I mean, if,
So can I have a motion to accept adding the different pieces to finish out the project for the skateboard?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, I got a motion by Gavin, a second by Bob. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay.
Do we have a quorum?
no, you don't have a quorum.
We're gonna act like we do.
Okay.
I think we do.
But it doesn't, I mean,
I don't know that we,
Don't need action if
yeah,
yeah, I
I
mean,
don't,
you know,
I just want to make sure we're all on the same page,
Okay.
basically, so.
So how soon
Too sure.
If absentees,
well,
if absentee.
Well, I can get it to the state.
They should have been here.
that's right. That's exactly right.
Like the playground. Like that.
If it doesn't work, he'll send out an email.
Yeah, it's within budget too.
I don't think it's gonna be that big of a deal.
I'm just glad to see it finished.
Finished.
Because
Yeah.
I know it was near and dear to your
Oh,
heart.
my God.
I'm really
Over
excited.
the years,
I should say decades.
yeah, you can say decades. I mean, I never saw a group that just kept
Well,
coming
you
back,
just did have a birthday.
coming back, coming back. Yeah, it is
Maybe we
decades.
should rename the park after 10.
No, no, no. No, but
You guys, I think will be really impressed
Yeah.
when the pavilion and the bathroom get sided and everything. I mean,
yeah, it's
really
gonna look good.
change.
What color siding you putting on those?
It's like I think like a khaki color. I can't remember the specific term off the top of my head, but, I mean, it'll really change I think, the way it looks, the park and everything.
I think it's good, and overall, the kids, whether they're adults or kids, they love it.
If I can just keep them from stop vandalizing, I mean,
I
I was
know.
down there last Friday and there was a bunch of kids there. And that night I got a police report that they, we just opened the bathrooms there.
And they spray
And they
painted?
spray painted the brick, you know, because that was one thing I think I reported on it once, but we reused the bathroom stall petitions from the old pool house in that bathroom there because all they had was wooden plywood petitions there. They didn't spray paint I say new petitions, but there's brick inside and they spray painted the brick. And then today, right before this meeting, Chad sent me pictures that the guy sent him, and there's a police report on it. I just haven't seen it yet. They spray painted some stuff on the concrete ramps.
Man.
And so when they do that, we get over there and power wash it off as quick as we can, because we don't like, you know, if it stays, the longer it stays, they're more apt to do it again, so.
We need
I
to,
do have to say, this is probably one of the least, at least visually, what like, you go to a lot of skate parks and you see,
oh,
not all of them, but a lot of them, you see
Right.
graffiti and just markers and all kinds of stuff on them, so we do try to stay on top of it and keep them off of that. At one time, I was proposing, we were trying to figure out how to cut costs on this, so we would have enough money for the play features, and this is before we started the project. But instead of having a fence, one of my ideas
was a wall.
was like they almost look like Lego blocks, and just put them around the perimeter to keep people from driving out on there at night and stuff like that. But then I was like, oh, would they start spray painting those? I guarantee they would.
Yeah, they would. They would. who's ever doing it, I mean, they would. It's like the people that spray paint, well, anywhere. And some of them aren't just the kids either.
Yeah.
That-
Oh, yeah, we caught, last year about this time, we caught an adult doing it
Yeah,
with his kid.
yeah.
The
I
kid was
mean,
in the car, yeah.
Yeah, so that's, but maybe we need to, when we talk to the paper, maybe, I don't know, we could think about an article about that, this project is being done, and yet vandalism, I would hate to
Oh, yeah.
close the skateboard park down, but if we would have to, it's, it's kind of like when they were walking on the trail and nobody was picking up the dog waste. I mean, you don't want to do this, but you can't keep replacing or cleaning. The reason that we're able to do this for them, for the community, is that we've got the money, but if our money's going into, I don't know, maybe we can think about an article, I'll think about something.
So it was last Friday, I was over there, and the water, like, wasn't on, that water fountain wasn't on. And they asked me about it. It was a fairly warm day, and I was like, I can't get it on today, but we'll get it on next week. And I left there, and there were kids milling around there. It's the same day that it got vandalized that night. I was like, God, I told Chad, we gotta get that on ASAP. That's the last thing I wanted to do is vandalize that new water fountain that
Right,
Optimus purchased.
right.
They didn't do the water fountain, they did the bathrooms.
There is always something. Okay, any more on the skateboard? Memorial tree application.
Gave away my paperwork. So this is not the actual application, but it's just a draft of basically our committee that we met recently, I guess it was last month, kind of notes and where we're headed. And Gavin's the only one here, I think, that's on the committee. So if I type this up incorrectly, let me know.
Gladly.
And so here's what we're thinking as far as the memorial tree program. So we got the cost of what it would cost the city staff to dig the hole, mulch, fertilize, care for the tree, about $120. I got to do a little more. Dave Waymeyer thought the actual cost of the tree would be, based on the size of what we want to do, would be approximately $300. So that could vary a little bit. So we're at $420 already. The committee decided that we should charge $500, that way we have a little wiggle room for inflation, and if the price of the tree is a little more, we got some wiggle room there. But what came out of this committee, in the second sheet I brought you from Washington Monument, and that's what that rock is there on the floor. It looks like the Parks Department died. Is a rock that staff picked out before I arrived here in 2018, and that was what they proposed to do. And it's pretty heavy. It's probably, I don't know, 75, 80, 90, it's heavy, pounds, and get that engraved. And so I thought those were just rocks that you could get it, like staff went to Hillenbrand or whatever. But anyways, it came through Washington Monument Company. That rock in 2018, October 2018, or whatever the date is on there, was, with engraving, was like $100 total, I think. Now it's like a rock that size, 75, 80, 100 pounds with engraving. Because it says they measure it by the size of the rock, and then an estimated poundage was between $195 and $295 engraved. So I just picked $200 as what it might cost someone. And instead of adding, the committee had a good idea, instead of adding that cost to the price of the memorial tree and what we're charging the purchaser of the tree up front, they said, well, not everyone may want a rock, and maybe not everyone can afford a rock at the time they purchased the tree. So they could pay the $500, we plant a tree, we can log it in on GIS and have it on the city website so they could locate it. If they, at that time, they could go down to Washington Monument and purchase that rock themselves, and we can pick it up, or they could bring it to us, however we can figure that out, and then city staff install it. But even if they, 2 years from now, if they wanted to install a rock, they could. But that's the only type of rock, that's the only type of engraved memorial piece that we would allow at the tree. So no other, if you go down to Washington Monument, they got all kinds of fancy marble monuments and different things like that. And we would work with Washington Monument. So if someone came in and wanted to purchase a memorial tree, we would give them a sheet that looks like this. It'd be worded a little bit different, be like, all right, if you want a rock, you take this to Washington Monument, and you pick out the rock and the size and everything, and then they'll let us know when it's done, we'll pick it up, or you can bring it to us, whatever we work out, and then we'll install it. And that could be, when the tree's going in the ground, it could be 2 years from now, whatever. And staff, we think, I don't know if this one has it or not, but we're pretty sure we can, if we need to, we can drill a hole on the back side of the rock.
Nope.
And install a spike in there
To hold it.
to hold it down.
That's a good
I
idea.
think if you guys want to pick it up afterwards, you can. It's pretty darn heavy. It's a lot heavier than I thought it would be.
for it.
Now, clarification, we would not allow the smaller rocks, only the 85.
Yeah, we really only want these big ones, because I don't want people, I would hope that they wouldn't run off with them. But the bigger they are, I think the harder they would be to do that. So, yeah, it would be the bigger rocks. And that's what I was saying, I can get, we can take that top picture off and only have the bottom picture that shows the size and the approximate
Right.
poundage, and hand it to them when they come in and say, if you want a rock, here's where you go to get one, here's the approximate price. When it's ready, we'll get it installed. And so we still have a few minor things to do. I don't anticipate these things taking too long. Just some specific rules to put on the application. Casey will create an application, which we kind of had a prototype started already. I want to have an urban forestry council meeting this week, no, next week, right? Next week? Next week, I think.
Next week,
Um,
I think next week.
I was gonna get their recommendation on types of trees to plant that we would offer. And then identify the parks needing trees, because not all of them need trees. And then what also came out of this committee meeting was a memorial brick program, where if you didn't want a bench, you didn't want a tree, but you wanted to do something to memorialize someone, sort of like the Angel of Hope Memorial, we could do a brick program. And there's a couple spots, I took some pictures. There's a couple locations at Krogh Memorial Park, which is our memorial park, that we could add either like a sidewalk going to a certain feature in the park, or around some of the existing memorials there, where we could add bricks in there. And we don't have a price or anything for that yet, but that's kind of more to come on that. Kind of developed out of these two programs. So that's where we're at. Nothing to approve yet or anything like that. But I'll get you some more paperwork here soon.
Sounds good.
I guess if anyone's got any suggestions or comments, or we'll take them.
Anybody?
Good report, very accurate.
Yeah.
That's good. Type that up pretty quickly.
No addendums, Kevin? That's good. Yay, all right. Anything that any member wants to bring up that we haven't talked about already?
We're well on the way to having a new entertainment pavilion.
Yeah, the
No,
pictures
no,
are
no, no,
good.
we're well on the way to having pickleball courts.
Yeah,
Can we go
Those
both
are
ways?
used a lot more.
Well, there's not a lick of concrete, there's not a lick of flat work concrete poured for the
Correct.
pickleball courts yet.
Correct.
yeah, they gotta get the roof on this week.
It looks good. Looks really good.
You know, there
They've
was-
done a
I don't know
lot,
if
lot
you
of
guys
dirt work too, so.
Had seen, there was a little hubbub on social media about the roof being too low. And I did check into that, and so the eave is at 12 feet, and then the center, I guess, tallest part of the roof is 18 feet in the middle, And the recommended ceiling height for pickleball, like if it was inside or whatever, is 18 to 20 feet. So we're close. I mean, it's gonna be like volleyball in a gym that has basketball hoops hanging and all kinds of stuff hanging from but then I went on recently and looked. So the lady, Kathy, had contacted me, who presented at this meeting, and wanted the plans and I was like, well, I don't really have the plans, we just,
They
and
just
I'm
do
glad I did. I found something that was like a cross-section of the roof that showed the eve height, and then the very top was a height that showed 12 and 18, and I sent that to her, and she was happy with that, but I didn't, it was in my email, she posted the whole email on Facebook and then said,
Well,
"If you
the
have
other-
any comments or questions, call this guy."
The other,
I haven't gotten any comments or questions, but I did check the post then, and some other people responded and said, "Oh, it'll be fine."
the other aspect of that, Wayne, is the pickleball courts will not take up the entire width of that pavilion, will they? Won't they,
No, they should be
won't they squeeze in?
more, yeah, squeezed in towards the center.
You know,
So you'll gain height.
This is only the start. There'll be little things that
You
come
never do
up,
it
you
right.
know, next there'll be lighting and, you know, it's gonna be an endless,
so can I ask one, how many courts will be able to play under there?
we have it, drawn out for four courts.
Well, that's 4 more courts that, that the city didn't have.
That was my
I-
initial reaction when I got the call and the kind of complaint. And then the focus moved once I said, well, it's better than what we have now.
Yeah.
And then the next comment was, well, we really wanted to do the old tennis courts.
Yeah, but that's just, again,
But I said,
They-
we want to be
it-
able to use those when it's raining and,
well, here's the other thing. I think what we're doing is very good, and as we have said, as they've come to us, if that's what they want to do, there's ways to begin to start to raise some money, because we are talking about a tremendous amount of money to turn that little area of the old tennis courts into pickleball. And they have pickleball out at our tennis facilities. The fair and the parks have worked to do this. I mean, they have, people sometimes have to be a little grateful.
And I get what they're saying for height, and I think the next thing will probably be fence. You know, just imagining playing out there and things are gonna roll downhill pretty quickly outside of there. There's gonna be requests, and we'll have to handle those as we go through it, but it's a start.
It's a start.
yeah, because it's,
Exactly.
It was good to think that they're gonna use it for something else.
Well, that's what I like the way it fits there. I mean, you would never think that it would, I guess I didn't, but it really looks nice there. It,
I just can't imagine a pickleball player hitting it that
Oh, you
yeah,
will.
guess,
But
Do you
at
play out?
the opposite, I've watched, so, total disclosure, but, you know, the ends being lower, I would think that by the time, you know, if you're that high, it's not gonna be in, it's gonna be out in the yard anyway, so,
Yeah.
without knowing
I think
enough
there's
about it.
some in the local group that like, that's their thing, is they like lob it up really high, but not everyone does that. Probably I would say majority don't do that,
No, is height an issue at the auditorium?
no. They're really high.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's quite a bit higher.
Did you read that over in like St. Louis, they're taking, at Bed Bath and Beyond?
And turning it into,
Oh, really?
Pickleball courts, yeah.
yeah, but then did you read the article that was in the paper about, and it was, I think, it was Wednesday's paper, I think it was, about, I don't want to hear about pickleball courts anymore? It was so funny. It was about, you know, okay, I get it, it's the up-and-coming sport. I get it that every community, you know, wants 50 pickleball courts and stuff.
Or was that a letter?
No, it was an article. It
Oh, really?
was
I missed it.
really very well done and very funny. But it was like, be appreciative of what you got. It was more of a story. Oh, you have to go back and read
Oh, I'll
it.
have to
It's on the,
It's gonna be a really nice, and I see it being used for more than just pickleball too.
I do too.
Said you could get up in the morning and eat breakfast and go out there and play pickleball. By noon, you're an expert.
Yeah. It was pretty funny. But I think what we're doing is good, and I think it's a start, and it looks really nice. So, you know, I think,
Yeah, like, I mean, because we're really retrofitting pickleball courts into a pavilion. I mean, so like Al was
Yeah.
saying, there's gonna be stuff that comes up, you know, because it's just not, wasn't designed by a pickleball court company or anything like that.
Right.
So we're doing the best we can with what we have. And
yep, yep.
Doing a
I
good
agree.
job. Keep it up.
Okay.
I have had a couple calls, Wayne, I don't know if there's much we can do about it. Teeman in Maine, the entrance down there into Bernie Hillerman Park.
Oh,
That little triangle just seems to get grown up into, I don't know if we purposely don't mow there until
yeah,
later in
it's
the
our
year.
reduced mowing plan that there,
Yeah.
that the city administrator had me start when we,
The, I've had several calls about that in the creek and, you know, walking along that trail, and it's not as clean as it used to be, and I think it's valid. You know, it doesn't look great, and we spend a lot of time right across the road on mulching and the plants and everything right at the end of Front Street that looks great, and then you make a left and you kind of look at a bunch of weeds there. I don't know if that's something.
I don't find it offensive whatsoever. You know,
Okay.
it's just part, you know, it's economically or ecologically friendly.
Well, and I get that, but that little triangle surely wouldn't take much, and I know we
Well,
always have discussions.
But it's every other little triangle that you know, that is part of the mowing reduction.
Which,
You know, all through Indian Valley is, you know, is not mowed.
by the pool there? That?
On Main, no, down at Main
Oh,
and
okay,
two.
when you,
So right across the road from
Where the
that
stop
mound
sign
where, you know, we mulch everything up and plant everything.
okay, right across the street there.
So
Yeah, I mean, it gets mowed a couple times a year.
passing it
Keep the-
on, and if that's something that we gotta
honeysuckle.
talk to Darren about and see, you know, I know we
It's
cut
come
down
up
on what we're
before in
mowing.
this group, and
I wish we had a traffic stripe on Main, like right below there, because I feel like everybody comes over so close.
Yeah.
Park thing.
How long you lived there?
My entire life, 55 years. They moved in when I was 6 months old, if you need to know. I don't plan on moving.
Any other
It's not
comments?
me driving bad, it's the other people.
Any other comments or suggestions that we need to discuss tonight? Hearing none, I need to have a motion for adjournment and a second.
I'll be the motion man tonight.
Okay, a motion by Gavin, a second by Jeannie, all in favor? Any opposed? And our next meeting is June 7th.
all right. Thank you.
That's a wrap. This is your meeting night.
No, Al, I don't know if you
I'm going to take the car to get
very often, but the whole,
blood drop.
the whole valley,
Yeah.
you know, is part of the, you know, mow it, you know, every so often rather